Before we get rocking and rolling, this list is actually kinda cool because it's basically a sequel, and everyone loves sequels. You're essentially about to experience The Empire Strikes Back. If you prefer A New Hope though, or at least an analogy that represents that, don't forget you can head over to shop.whatculture.com right now and pick up the shocking wrestling plans you won't believe almost happened book, and you can watch the video as well. Given this is wrestling though, there's a ton of jaw-dropping plans that are almost hard to believe were even a thought in someone's head, let alone almost coming to fruition, and that's why it's important to talk about them so that hopefully someone, somewhere, finally realizes how nuts all this stuff was. I'm Simon from What Culture, and this is 10 more shocking WWE plans you won't believe. Number 10, live tattoos. In 2012, when Chris Jericho and CM Punk were having a big old feud, Jericho went to Vince McMahon and said, "Hey Vince, I've got an idea. How about I tattoo Punk for real live on the show?" Thankfully, McMahon said no. Now, it seems the main reason for this was due to the amount of blood that would be shed. Decent enough reason. But one that seems at odds given around the same time John Cena and Brock Lesnar had bled all over the place at Extreme Rules. Simple fact was Jericho and Punk weren't seen on that level, so they didn't get the green light. Also though, that's just nuts. It's not like it's going to be a good tattoo, it's going to look rubbish. You have to be all rough and aggressive. Apparently they won Vince around for a little while, but ultimately he shut the idea down. Personally, I think that may have been the right call. Number 9, the Ultimate Paycheck. Despite his reputation throughout the years, the Ultimate Warrior was just wanted by the WWE. Maybe that was why. He was so all over the place, Vince McMahon thought he could tame him, even though it was clear that was never going to be possible. WCW couldn't even get him to keep to his allocated promo time on live TV. Amazingly though, in late 1997, after Warrior had been gone for the company for around 18 months, WWE did offer him a 5-year deal worth $750,000 every 12 months, or at least that's what elite contracts suggest. The Ultimate One was also promised to run on top, and can you only imagine how that would have gone? Would you want to see Stone Cold Steve Austin being run over by the Warrior? Exactly. Number 8, Christian's Blue Dot. This one is just surreal and a terrifying insight into the minds of the people roaming backstage in the WWE. But yes, one day Vince McMahon decided he didn't like Christian's face, and therefore every time he was on TV, it should be covered by a blue dot. And you didn't mishear that. I mean literally a blue dot would be transposed upon his face whenever he was on television. What anyone would have thought of that, I don't know, and how would it work when he wrestled? It's not like Christian was slow, he moved with speed and pace. Was this blue dot just going to race around the screen like some drugged up insect? It made no sense and thankfully never made it past the idea process, but it should never have been an idea to begin with. Number 7, devolution, which is a bad pun to describe what the original plan for the Evolution stable was, and this one came awfully close to happening as there's footage that proves it. But yes, Mark Jindrak was meant to be the 4th member of the group alongside Triple H, Ric Flair and Randy Orton, which is crazy now when you think about it. Batista came so important to that faction and he achieved so much. Who knows what would have happened? Jindrak did tick all the WWE boxes in the sense he was young, wanted to learn, clearly went to the gym, but even now he admits it would have been a bad move. Doesn't think he was ready for such a spot. You'd have to assume that's what everyone else thought as well, and while the Animal went on to be a main eventer, Jindrak just vanished from TV like a magic trick. Number 6, not cool. Let's face it, the WWE are not good when it comes to trying to implement a homosexual storyline into proceedings. It's like a Billy and Chuck. Gosh. 4 years prior to this though, WWE was already seeing if they could use being gay as a reason for someone to be a heel, which is offensive by the way, and put this concept on Bryan Christopher and Scott Taylor, who were known as Too Much. The pair were ambiguously camp on wrestling's horrifically dated terms, abusing the trope for cheap heat during a time where ultra-masculinity was the only accepted form of heroism. Though they rarely made it to Raw, Vince Russo still pitched the idea of a wedding between the two. The lack of a follow-up may have been down to ambivalence as much as anything else, although rumours did circulate that Christopher's father Jerry Lawler forcefully nixed any proposals. Number 5, keeping it in the family. This one is the worst because who the hell is it aimed at? But at some point in the mid-2000s, an idea was pitched that Paul Burchill and storyline sister Katie Lee should be involved in an incest angle. Straight away, I just want to run away and die. A follow-up to when Vince McMahon had wanted to do this before with his own children, which is even worse, the Brits felt less inclined to say no, meaning in February 2008, Paul Burchill went on TV to say, "Every brother loves to make his little sister happy." Oh my gosh. Mercifully, 2 weeks later, the company made the decision to go PG and this was killed off. But honestly, it's just disgusting all round. What's next? Necrophilia? Oh no, wait, we did that. Number 4, WrestleMania 30. One that many people are familiar with, although still an idea that's baffling when you consider the lay of the land at the time. The original plan for the main event at WrestleMania 30 was for Randy Orton to take on Batista for the world title, and that was that. No one cared that Daniel Bryan was the most over guy in the company. That wasn't the idea, so screw him. In fact, it was all meant to be very different. Triple H, who Daniel beat at the show to earn his place in the championship bout, was penciled in to face CM Punk. Obviously, Punk left the company's months prior. Batista's poor reaction reaction to winning the Rumble finally got a clue in someone's head of what they needed to do. It saw Daniel go from a perspective match with Sheamus to one of the best moments in WWE history. Can you imagine it going the other way? Number 3, the Origins of Batista. Another one in the what files. This was revealed on the Edge and Christian podcast, where ex-WWE writer Bryan revealed what was on the table for Batista at one point during his run. Vince McMahon wanted him to be a foster child. Right. This idea was going to see Ric Flair positioned as some sort of surrogate father for Big Dave, and at one point it was even going to be taken as far as to say he was a child of rape, hence why Batista was so mad all the time. As an aside, that is so appalling, I don't even know where to begin. As quickly as it arose, it vanished again, hopefully because everyone saw sense, and you can only assume if WWE had done this, Batista would have had to overcome a lot of hurdles to get to where he eventually did. Number 2, the Ultimate Heel. Strictly speaking in on-camera terms, the Ultimate Warrior playing the bad guy doesn't make much sense. He was a real-life superhero that kids loved. Doesn't mean it couldn't have worked, but given what we saw and know, it just seems so out of left field. But it almost happened. When Warrior returned to the WWE in '92, the idea was simple. His SummerSlam clash with Randy Savage would end with a heel turn where Mr. Ultimate would shockingly side with Ric Flair and Mr. Perfect in order to win the WWE title before losing it to Bret Hart. It was all good to go until the Warrior himself decided he didn't want to do it, which changed plans no end. This wasn't the cards though. Who knows how it would have played out. Number 1, Manlina. Straight up, at one point WWE apparently had the plan to have WWE diva Melina reveal herself as a man in drag. Yep. Forget the fact she was actually a woman, we were going to be asked to believe that wasn't true, and she was in fact a man. Furthermore, the build to all of this would have featured Batista, poor guy, and Melina caught up in some sort of storyline sexual assault charge, another avenue which just never needs to be gone down. I guess it's good that this was nothing more than backstage chatter, as none of it came to pass. But it does make you wonder, right? What on earth are people thinking?
The killer in you is the power in me. Pleased to meet you, so good to see. The killer in you will keep me alive. Back to back, self-sacrifice.
Gosh, can you believe that person said that about that particular video on that entry? I sure can't. But you should like, share and subscribe below anyway. And also, the people who made this video, they're right here. Go follow them and give them some love. Also, there's more content, probably above my head. Check it out. Or don't. 50-50.